No fair for Julie and Jillian not to show their faces, you know.
Let's hope they turn it on soon.
There you go. That's better. Come on now. I got it, you know, in my face.
All right, this is just a little bit slow, but hopefully it's going to work. This going into Facebook things, a little bit touchy sometimes. All right, we're live in the community, and let me just put it on speaker view. And okay, thank you everyone. We are now live on this recording. Thank you, Dr. Brett Brimhall, for jumping onto this meeting with us on this Saturday morning. I know, you know, it's late over there for you in the afternoon. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are tuning into this with myself and Dr. Brett Brimhall. And we're very excited to share this information with you today regarding our health, regarding biohacking and nutrigenomics, and how we can change our bodies and our lives for the better. Now, I'm very excited to share this information with you and with Dr. Brett to hear what he has to say about all of this and why he chose this profession, or why he's gone into network marketing alongside his chiropractic work. So before we get into any more of the information, I'm just going to quickly go into Dr. Brett's bio and give you a little bit of a spiel about him before he shares the presentation. So Dr. Brett is married with 4 children ranging from 20 to 12. He's been in clinical practice for 19 years and has been training in healthcare providers all over the world since 1995. He's a teacher and creator of nutritional supplements and chiropractic tools and techniques. And in 2014, he had a paradigm shift, which when he saw changes in a patient that he had worked with over the last year, with the breakthrough technology, he's now on the science advisory board with Lifevantage because of things like this paradigm shift and what he saw within his practice. And we are a publicly traded company, and one that Dr. Brett has put a lot of time and effort into to immerse himself, to learn this information and share all of this incredible information with people like us, especially with this day and age and what's going on right now. So thank you, Dr. Brett, for your time, and I'll hand it over to you to share the information with us.
Hey, Janelle, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to do this. Excited to see you all. I know it's Saturday where you are, still Friday where I am. And as I was kind of getting ready today, I don't know how many times I've talked about this stuff over the years, you know, hundreds of times by now. But I was thinking about, for many of us, or for many of you, maybe this is the first time. And maybe you're wondering if some of the things you will hear might have an impact on your health or your life, or maybe you're looking for other ways to generate revenue for your family. So my background over the last 25 years, I've been teaching physicians all over the world on nutritional supplements my dad created. And so I wasn't a stranger to nutrition. My background is chiropractic, nutrition, acupuncture, a heavy background in psychology, because I like working with the emotional side of things. And my dad and I developed a system called the 6 Steps to Wellness, which is really looking at the whole person. And what I'm going to bring together today is to share with you why what we're doing when it comes to Lifevantage and these products are a key integral part that should be something that people should use in their healthcare strategy. So I'm going to share my screen, and I may talk fast. If I do, just put your hand up and say slow down. But I want to gather this information in a concise way where it can paint a picture for you, and we'll come back at the end. So here we go. I'm going to share my screen, and I'll ask if you guys can see it here. All right. Thumbs up. We see it okay?
Yeah, that's great.
Okay, perfect. All right. So if you don't know Lifevantage, it's a publicly traded company. What that means is, to be publicly traded, it means that a lot of people have to look at it. So the information that we're going to share has to be very much tightly controlled. And so I'm excited to be a part of something that big. And what we're going to talk about today is flipping the switch. And what that means is
that I'm not showing on here.
Is it not? Can you see it?
Yeah, it's good on my end. Sorry, I'm just
Right.
making sure everyone's muted.
You come in and you unmute and just mute yourself if you could, please. So here's the reality. All of us can heal and repair, and our body is designed and actually programmed to do so. But sometimes that doesn't happen. We're going to learn how you can actually flip the switch in your body to improve the outcome you have, but also maybe flip the switch in your life to open up to the possibility that maybe you could do more than you're currently doing right now, even emotionally. So I remember this concept when I first heard about biohacking. I thought that's kind of a weird concept. Like biohacking didn't make sense to me, but what did make sense to me as I was thinking about it was hijacking. My mom passed away in 2008. She really never smoked, never drank, phenomenally clean lifestyle, but she was exposed to environmental toxins in her youth. And so because of that, it damaged her genes, and that was so it literally hijacked her health. And right now, every single day, no matter where you live in the world, there are things hijacking your genetic potential. Right? She was one of 10 kids, the youngest. And all of those kids did not outlive their parents. Her parents lived to 93 and 97. The oldest one to date that's lived the longest lived to about 85. Because the environment with really good genetics can damage genetics. So you want to learn to control what you can control. And this is all around you every single day, from the tiniest baby to the oldest person. So the question is, what can we do about it? All right. Unfortunately, there are literally 85,000 type of chemicals dumped onto our world since the Industrial Revolution, and there's still a lot more, right? So what we got to do is we need to find a way to eliminate that. What that literally dims your lights. Now, everybody experiences it differently. They might feel it differently. So everybody always has to say, well, will this help this? Will this help that? Well, here's the reality: is that symptoms come because systems don't work well. So if you're a human and you're having any of these symptoms, whether it's a decreased immune response, brain fog, or feeling sluggish, not feeling motivated, or just feeling more stress and fatigue, it's because certain systems in your body are not keeping up. So what if you could understand the systems and activate those? It can have a vastly different experience. A diagnosis is simply a group of symptoms put together that manifest a certain way to say, hey, this is the name of this condition. What that really means is, what we want to ask, what is causing the disruption in the system? All right. The foundational things that happen when systems are get damaged: oxidative stress, there's mitochondrial decline, and decrease in serotonin activity. So we're going to go through each one of those, and then you can understand what you can actually do about them. Oxidative stress, we've all seen it. You bite an apple, what happens? It literally starts changing immediately. As soon as that protective barrier is gone, it starts oxidizing. In metal, we call that rust. This is what happened in an apple. The body has natural inborn mechanisms in place to actually literally control that response. Now, the more stressed your system is, the worse your diet is, the more pollutants you're around, the faster this process takes place. And depending on the part or the cell that it affects, the part of the body will give you the symptoms. So if it's having a lot in the nerve cells, it might turn into brain fog or feeling fatigued. If it happens in an organ, it might be related to that organ, whether it's a kidney or whether it's a heart or whether it's a bone. It's all oxidative stress. So what we're going to do is we're going to find ways to change that. So science discovered that our genes can train these abilities. We just got to find a way to activate those genes. So my computer might be really slow. So we're going to teach you how to flip the switch. So and really the question is, if you knew how, would you? Because even though we might know that exercise is good for us, we might know that eating certain foods is good for us and not eating certain foods is good for us. The question becomes now, will you do what it takes? And what I love about this process, it's very, very easy to be very successful at flipping these switches once you know how. So I was going to show that video, but I know that it's going to not go well. So if you haven't seen the ABC Investigative Report, just go to biohackandactivate.com, watch that. And what it is, it's a video that shows the beginning of the idea of they took blood from individuals and they wanted to see if the individuals had oxidative stress, and there's a marker you can look for. What they found is as people age, they decrease their body's ability to fight that oxidative stress decreases over time. But what they found is when the people ingested protein of NRF2, literally you couldn't tell the difference in the blood between a 20-year-old and an 80-year-old, right? And that was flipping the switch. All right. So if you haven't watched that video, please do. Now, what protanum NRF2 is, I'm going to back this up a second so you can watch that one more time. It's a switch. And when that switch is activated, it's a combination of 5 specific plant extracts. And combined in a certain way, it activates a switch inside the cell, very much like you've all seen a light switch. You know, the light bulb might be fine, electricity might go to the light switch, but until you flip that switch, it doesn't work. So the switch that controls the body's ability to produce antioxidants is called NRF2. Someone might say, well, what's an antioxidant, right? So an antioxidant is the cleanup crew. All right. The bad guy is called the free radical. All right. So typically, many of people hear, well, I take things like vitamin C or I take things like selenium. Well, those are antioxidants. The way those work is when you ingest those, it kills one bad guy per molecule of good guy you have. Right? The difference in this is when you can turn on the switch inside your cells, your body produces big, huge enzymes, something known as what's called glutathione and superoxide dismutase. All you need to know is when you take it, you literally turn on the switches inside your cells. I'd like to like I have 4 kids, right? They make a mess. Okay. But if I can actually get them to work together, we can clean the house really, really fast. So inside your cells, you have these mechanisms, but they're sitting on the couch, like doing nothing until they're activated, right? This switch, NRF2, is so powerful. Is when that happens, the switch turns on. You don't have to guess. If you're a mammal, you have that switch, and if you know the right way to turn it on, you can. And I'll tell you a couple of stories of what I've seen and the results from that. So here's what happens when you turn that switch on. Now, what we can say, and I want you to watch that apple again. Look what happens to that apple. So everybody's seen this apple decay, and you watch how it reverses it. So imagine if you could feel like you did when you were younger, when you were healthier. What would that feel like? What could you do that you're currently not doing? Because it's not so much the name of the condition that people have that bothers them. It's the things they cannot do, right? It's the individual that can't pick up their baby. It's the person that's having so much decision fatigue, they don't really know what to make for dinner. It's the child that's struggling with remembering what they did on their homework assignment. It's the person that's feeling overwhelmed by any decisions that they make. It's the person that because they don't feel good, they can't even move. Right? Who do you know that's like that? Or those individuals that they feel okay, right? But they want more from their body. Or if you're like me, and you understand this, that you want to have every competitive edge for your body to function ideally and protect you from what you don't even know exists. My mom had no idea, and she did a lot right. But this wasn't an option then. I didn't know about it then. So if you're one of those that has something going on, great, take it. If you're one of those that don't want to have something, great, take it, right? Because this is part of the health strategy. You don't brush your teeth, right? Because you're not going to get cavity tomorrow. You brush your teeth so you hope you don't get cavities. You get to keep your teeth long term. So this is designed to turn that switch on. What we can say is when you take protanum NRF2, it reduces that oxidative stress by 40% in 30 days. So imagine if you could get 40% more out of your day. Who wouldn't want that? That's one of the switches, right? This is the protein NRF2. Washington State called this science, this switch in the body is called NRF2. It's likely to become the most important health promoting approach. So think about that. The most important health promoting approach in the foreseeable future. NRF2 may well become the most extraordinary breakthrough in the history of health. So if you think about all the amazing things that has happened in the healthcare industry and understanding this particular switch, but not only just this switch, but the idea that the body can heal itself and we have an ability to turn on switches that are specific to helping with health and longevity. That's what you're learning about today. Now, I was introduced to this, right, not because of this. is because a young man I was working with, I'd worked with every week for a year, and he struggled. And then his mom started giving him Axio, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But Axio was a brain drink designed to drain brain fatigue based on this same technology. And I watched this individual in a matter of a couple week period of time, literally do a 180-degree turnaround. And that's what caught me. It wasn't I wasn't getting good supplements. Not that we weren't doing a lot of really good things, but the switches weren't working the right way. His brain was fatiguing. And to him, that manifested in a situation where he was having a hard time learning and retaining and remembering and recalling information. He was struggling socially. So how many people are out there right now are just struggling, not because they so Heidi, let me have you mute yourself there, kiddo, please. All right, so here's what it looks like. You have two ways of dealing with oxidative stress. As we age, you're going to decrease in production. That's just what happens. Or, in the traditional ways, you can take antioxidants like vitamin C, or you can turn on the switches the way we're doing it now. Okay. My idea is you should do this. And here's a perfect example. I worked with a lady. I'm watching people now I've worked with for over a decade get better than I thought possible. I had a lady, she was on 32 different vitamin and mineral supplements. All right. She was also on a medication to try to control a certain process going on in her body. She is now on she's just on a handful of these activators and a couple other things. And she is doing things that I didn't even dream was possible. Things that are getting better in ways that I didn't think was even a possibility for her. Where she's now able to take care of her family. She's able to, instead of being most days on the couch, in order to function today, she functioned all day long. And she's now expecting her first grandbaby and excited about it because she knows she'll be able to pick that baby up. Before, she wasn't sure she'd be safe to even do that. That's what this had the potential of doing, not so much in the immediate, but in the long term. Because she's been on it 6 years now. The effects of what you do with this is cumulative, right? Just like brushing your teeth, just like exercise, just like good communication. But you don't have to guess if this is working. So if you want to know if this is real, great, go to a place called pubmed.gov, type in Protandim. You're going to see studies from all over the world, from all sorts of universities, talking about Protandim and R2 specifically, not just the ingredients, but this. People will say all the time, well, can I go mix up this herb and this herb and this herb? Well, yeah, you can, but it's not going to do the same thing. You can guess or you can know, right? We know what this one does. And we have the university studies to back it up. And I love that confidence because if I'm giving it to somebody or taking it myself, I want to know that it's doing what it's doing. Many people go to like different online retailers to buy a vitamin or mineral, and they're all different prices. Why is that? They're not all the same, not even close. So unless you really understand the science behind stuff, like don't always choose the cheapest one. Make sure you have confidence in it. And what's what I love about being a publicly traded company, the ingredients are going to be real. The product's going to be real because it's backed by research and because we have a higher level of scrutiny. But if you need that science background, go to pubmed.gov, G-O-V, and look some of these things up. All right. So if there's one switch, are there others? Absolutely. So we're going to talk about a couple other those. So mitochondrial decline. And when you go to pubmed.gov, type in oxidative stress and any condition you can think of, and you're going to see a lot of correlation. Type in mitochondrial dysfunction and any condition, and you see correlation between them. All right. And this goes back to the concept before. Not a symptom, but a system. If you can improve cellular repair, who might that help? Mitochondria are the powerhouse of your cell. They're the one that make your energy, right? Just like you saw that battery go down on the phone. Look at your phone. When your phone loses power, it goes to safe mode. It slows things down so it can last longer, but that doesn't mean it's functioning ideally. So your body does the same thing. As it runs out of energy, it literally slows things down. So what if there was a way to improve mitochondrial function? There is. It's called the NRF1 switch. Combination of 5 herbs put together, Lifevantage found a way to turn on that particular switch. Allow our body to manufacture more mitochondria and help those mitochondria function better to produce more energy. Think of it again, 70% more function. So think about the analogy of my kids before. What if my kids actually put 70% more effort in? How much more could they get done? Okay. All right. Then there's a sirtuin. Sirtuin its job is kind of like the mom. It's the cleanup part, right? And as over time, as you know, if moms aren't around, what happens to the house? It gets messy, right? And things get cluttered. So the sirtuins in the cells are the communication system. They're the one that get in there and make sure everything happens like it's supposed to. When that does not happen, the cell slows down and breaks down. So if you have heard of intermittent fasting is one way to increase sirtuins, right? So what if you could turn that switch on? Again, Lifevantage, understanding the concept, let's find the plant extracts that work together to do just that. Now, I know in Australia, New Zealand, this product's not there yet, but it will be with time. So we're still going to cover it, right? So what if you could take something that activated that sirtuin, increase it by 100%, 24 hours? That's what this does. Now, the concept of activation is fairly new. But even newer than that is companies creating products that are scientifically studied and show that they activate gene switches. That gets me excited, right? Because then I don't have to guess, right? If you're a human or you're a mammal and I want to improve your performance, I can put these things in you. And because the credibility that's behind the science, I know it's safe and effective, right? So if we can increase those sirtuins, watch what happens. Those gears start moving again, right? Which again, like if mom's doing well, the house runs smooth. It's just how it goes, right? So the question begs, what happens if you help all three? What might happen? Or is one more important than the other? Great question. So if we combine the activity of each individual one, this is what happens. So the black bar represents what happens in the cell when you activate with that particular switch. So for this one over here, NRF2 gene, you'll see right here, it says antioxidants and detoxification. So think of that as the specific mechanism or assembly line that controls the body's ability to produce antioxidants and clean up, to detoxify. This one here controlled inflammation. So when you take NRF2, it literally improved that by 40%. But when you added the other two in, increasing the power and the communication, it went from 40 to 73%. And then this one here went from 50% to 838%. What I want you to notice is that each one of those increased, whether it was the mitochondria or the NAD. And if you look at NAD, 12% by itself, but when combined with the repair and the mitochondria, it jumped to 127% and 226%. That's a giant difference, right? And so imagine, you don't have to guess, you're literally turning on those switches. So this concept of activation, right? What might that feel to you? Well, how would it feel to have more positive mood and motivation, or have support and health and longevity, or more mental focus and concentration, right? More physical and mental energy, less inflammatory response, a better vascular system. Like, what might that mean to you? Well, for a child, it might make the difference in the world between having more confidence in themselves and their ability to do schoolwork. For a father is to feel like they can provide for their family because they have the mental and emotional willpower to do so. For a mom, it might be able to be healthy enough to raise the kids the way they want to, right? Or if you're looking just to perform as an athlete or anything else, it's a higher level of performance. So Lifevantage made it very easy by putting a tri-synergizer. I know eventually that'll be there. But what I want you to kind of hit is this picture here. Each one of the products that Lifevantage is making is taking this same concept in mind. For instance, the Vitality Stack. This is actually what I take every single day with NAD and Axio. Why? Because I want to activate the mitochondria. I want more energy. I want my cells repairing. I want my cells communicating. I want the fish oil in my body every single day with vitamin D because that's critical for hormones and critical for brain health. And I want my gut healthy. That's the power of the probiotic. The probiotic, time-release fashion with the Well-Immune literally helps the gut heal. At the same time, helps the body reduce the inflammatory reaction that happens in the gut. That's the Well-Immune. So you have less reaction to food and other things like that. Critical. But they've applied this same technology to weight loss, the same technology to skincare, and the same technology to hair care. That's a very unique concept in of itself. Axials, again, I can't wait for you all to have it over there. Literally, this is what got me into Lifevantage because of what I saw in that young man. And I use this every single day in myself because I want my brain to perform, but I also want my brain to be protected. So you'll love that when it comes. But for those of you that have that are building this business and sharing this with people all around the world, this is in other countries, so they can use it. All right. So people are always asking right now. I mean, this last year we've learned even more so that people are buying products from online more than ever. So what if you could share this information with other people, help them in their health and their longevity, and also earn an extra income for your family? Would you be open to that? That's so when I decided to jump in and do Lifevantage for a couple of reasons. One, what kind of physician would I be if I didn't? With what I saw with these individuals and other individuals throughout the time I've been using this, what kind of physician would I be if I didn't? And number two, right when I started this working with this company, I ended up breaking my knee playing when I was playing basketball. So literally, I was hobbling around on a broken knee treating patients. So the first time in my life, I thought, what if I couldn't practice? You know, most of us have an income that's tied to a particular job, but what if you couldn't do that job? Or what if you wanted a side hustle or something else you can do to provide income for your family? This could be for you if it's a fit. You got to be someone that wants to share and to help others, and that's what this is. So what about the company? It is a safe, stable company. Well, guess what? We're 11 years old. We're headquartered in Utah, publicly traded, which is a huge level of credibility, debt-free, governed by a board with former executives from Coca-Cola, Airbnb, Amazon. We have Aaron Brockovich on our board as well, which is a huge advocate for health and wellness. Okay, it's what trends are we a part of? Well, again, even more so this last year, but this was already the case. There's never been a history in the world where people are more concerned about their health than right now. Okay? And it's increased every single year and drastically increased in the last 12 months. The industry we're a part of, from anti-aging to skincare to hair care to pet care to energy to weight loss, over $600 billion industry. So I want you to think for yourself, how many of you have bought something online in the last 24 hours or 2 weeks? And I'd venture to say probably every single one of us have, right? And who is getting that money from that? If it's Amazon, well, you know who's getting it, right? But what if you could be a part of that solution where you're helping people with their health? You can build a team that's a global-based business with products that you use anyway. That's what this could allow you to do. So I love this switch, right? For the first time ever, wellness has outpaced cosmetics. The model of network marketing I was not familiar with, but I love it. When I went to school, it took me almost 8 years to get my degree. On top of that, I ended up buying my dad's practice. I spent $500,000 doing that. Network marketing, super inexpensive way to start a business. And then for you, it's more about what do you got to do? So you can work from anywhere. Like I'm literally, guys, I flew here just a minute ago. I'm in Utah for a few minutes, and I'm driving back to Arizona. I paused to come get Wi-Fi to do this. So you can literally work from anywhere, fit that into your schedule, and you can travel and do things away, and your payment comes right to you. I love how simple that is. This is what's called the average annual earnings statement from Lifevantage. So you can look this up, but this is broken down by distributor by the volume that goes to your group. And the person that invited this can go over this in greater detail. Bottom line, I want you to know that it's real. So maybe you're someone, hey, I'd love to earn an extra $600 a month. Imagine if you could add $600 more to your income every month. Like, what would that mean to you? I know for many people, this would save them from a bankruptcy in the United States. Or say, you know what, I really want to add extra income. They're Pro 5, they're $3,000 extra a month, or Pro 7, $13,000 extra a month. So you can turn this into part-time income or full-time income, depending on what you want. And I love the fact that I was able to do this as I was still practicing. So how do you get involved? Well, if you want to be a customer, great. Get with the person that invited you, become a customer. The product ships directly to you. There's a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're like, you know what, I think I want more of the product, great. There are different packs you can choose. There's a bigger discount with the bigger the pack. And if you want to do the business, great. Everything's included in that. It's a one-time investment. And then the cost of after that is just the cost to take the products, right? So then the question is, can you do this? Well, what I love is everything's there to be successful. The only factor that is next is you. So Lifevantage has set it up to give us the tools and the resources and the training and the systems. Like tomorrow morning, they'll do a training every Saturday to teach us how to be successful at this business, for people to share their information, right? You have customer support, you have what's called the ITT system, which allows you to learn how to invite people to take a look at this, just like this now. You know, here you can invite a friend or family member to listen to somebody that's done this before, and to help them get a perspective of what might be possible for them. You know, there's credibility corporate events, there are different incentives, and there's different support groups, just like the one you guys have right here. So here's a couple highlights from Lifevantage in the last few years. Number one, they've been voted one of the best places to work the last 3 years running. They've launched multiple products, just launched its third European market in the past 8 months, and it continued to grow in Ireland. They're getting ready to open in the Orient. Erin Brockovich, like I said before, she was just named to the board of directors. They've received 2 of these awards now. It's called the Silver Stevie Award, which is a award for brand new product launches like the Tri-Synergizer. Okay, we were added to what's called the Russell 3000 Index. These are all big levels of credibility where we're catching the eye of big industries, which is a good thing to have, especially right now. We're really unknown. Most people don't know that, but as more people learn about us, the faster this will move. Okay, traded on NASDAQ. Like I said, you guys know we're launched in New Zealand now. We got to ring the bell on the NASDAQ for early January 2020. That was a fun experience. Okay, primary sponsor of the Salt Lake Real, which is it's a soccer team. Okay, we're opening all these markets. And one of the big things about this is the company's all be giving back, right? I've been down to Mexico a couple of different times helping to build houses, and everywhere Lifevantage goes, they're about giving back to the people. All right, so the question is, where do you go from here? That's up to you. What I'm grateful for is that Janelle gave me the opportunity to do this, because what I know, guys, right now is there's a world that has a need for what we have. I've been in the clinical practice for almost just over 20 years now. And the complexity of helping people learn how to heal and get well, this makes it phenomenally easier. We're not chasing symptoms. We're helping people with their systems. And we don't have to guess that it works. We know from the studies that it does. And to have a business model where literally we can share it from anywhere, it allows people to do this in their part-time. And guess what? It's more common now than ever for people to have a side gig. Like the guy that Ubered me here, that's not his main job. Almost everybody is looking for some other side hustle that they can have. It's just, is this a fit for you? I want to leave you with this. I've watched patients for the last 25 years of my practice working with my dad. And I've seen changes by adding these things into their life that I never thought was possible. So I know that the science we're using is real and is helping people heal in the ways that I didn't know was possible. It's just a matter of which products do you want to use. Do you want to use them to help you feel better, or are you using them for longevity? For me, it's about longevity, right? And then it's at what level do you want to go? Are you want a little bit of help, or you want a lot of bit of help, right? For me, I'm going to apply everything I can for me and my family to get them the best I possibly can. Right? If you're looking at the business, just get back to whoever invited you. But I love this thing, because if you don't want to do the business at all, but you want to share, great. There's a customer program, right? You can get a discount on your product by sharing with other people. But Janelle, thank you for giving me the opportunity to do this. I hope more than anything, guys, that you thought of somebody tonight or I should say this morning where you are, you thought about somebody's like, oh, I wish they were on here because I wonder if this might help them. Or, oh my gosh, John just lost his job. I wonder if he's looking for something. Just do them a favor and ask them, and then let them decide, because this world needs people to be healthy, to know how to get healthy, stay healthy. And we need good people making good money so we can help make positive change in the world. So Janelle, thank you again for the opportunity to chat for a few minutes. And I'll turn it back to you.
Thank you so much, Brett. Now, gosh, I've got goosebumps because it's such an impact, and it is truly the next generation of wellness that we're looking at right here. And I really feel like you've given us a great overall picture of where this can go and what it can do for other people. And the fact that you've had, you're seeing this with your patients and clients and things within your practice, and the testimonials can't lie. There can't be that many people, that are getting these results that are lying. That it's true information, and it's so profound and gobsmacking and eye-opening to be able to share this with other people. And I truly, truly thank you so much for taking your time on your travels to share this information with us. So thank you, Dr. Brett, for all of what you've done here today to share this with us. And I'll leave it there. And for anyone that's on here that was invited on by someone else, please go back to that person and let them know what your thoughts are, and if you want to start off with these products or this business in any way. Thank you, Brett.
Hey, Janelle, let me say one last thing. I don't know. So a lot of people ask, well, how long do I take? Right? Like how long? So let me give you a little perspective on this. This one lady I was telling you about. So literally, I wouldn't have believed it was possible for her to get. I remember her calling me and saying that some things that were happening. And I said, that's not supposed to happen. Like it's just from what I know about science and what's going on in her body, I didn't think it was possible. So just know it took you time to get where you are. And it's going to take you time to get where you don't want to be. And so I tell people a minimum stay on this 6 months. Right? If you're dealing with neurological type problems where you're talking about brain-based problems, things like that, if you've been feeling bad for years, give yourself a minimum of 1 month for every year you struggled, because don't quit before the magic happens. Right? And for me, I will take these forever until there's something else that does what this does better. I always say you find the product that works, and if you have two that work the same, then you take the less expensive of the two. But at this point in time, I don't know anything else that does what this does. And so best to you guys, please give it time, let it work its magic. And the more you combine, the effects are absolutely cumulative. All right. Have a great Saturday.
Thank you so much for your input and for that last little point. It's very important to us. So thank you so much, Brett. Thank you all guys for jumping on. We'll talk to you soon.